Is this all I got? 25 miles is all Jonathan Shane has to offer. What is going on, guys? It is 5 in the morning. We're sipping coffee. We're getting ready. It's the day. Let's go. You know, the training for a marathon is one of the most difficult and at the same time satisfying things I think I've ever done in my life. I can't even begin to tell you my emotions behind, even now, you know, as we're talking about this, I'm having a hard time articulating how I felt the whole process. What is going on, guys? All right, so real quick, I wanted to show you what we're working with, what we're wearing, what we're eating, all the jazz. Let's get started. So what we got here is we've got the drinks. So we've got one bottle. This is for miles 0 through 10. This is through miles 16 through 20. That's when we're going to be ingesting these here. These go in this little belt pocket. I'm going to chunk this at mile 10. So what's in this exactly? So we've got one pack in here of this and one pack in here of this. We've also got 1.5 scoops in here and in here of a resistant starch. I think I've shown it in another video before. I threw away the bottle, but it's basically a resistant starch with a complex carbohydrate. And then we also have about a tablespoon or half a tablespoon of maple syrup for each of these. Sorry, alarm. And then, stop it. Okay. And then we have this bad boy. So I'm going to drink this about 30 minutes before the race. And then we have these two things during the race. I like my carbohydrates, the ones that I am going to drink during the race. Here are the macros right here for all of this, because I want you to see that this is ketogenic. This is not heavy carb. Any endurance runner that watches this video is going to have their mind blown by the amount of carbs I'm eating for an entire marathon, but there we go. All right, and this is what we're wearing. So I've already got my shorts on. Represent, represent. All right, we have some New Balance shoes. Okay, I love these things. We have some Nike socks, 365/24. Never stop working. Let's go. We got our belt, drinks, hat, visor, smack, and there we go. All right, so we've already had coffee this morning. About a tablespoon of cream, some collagen powder just to get everything warmed up. I feel so good right now. So yeah. I'm ready. Let's go. I've never found a sport or a activity that has drawn me so close and something that I'm just so infatuated with, if that's the right term. I can't even begin to tell you. The pain, the love, the hurt, it's all just so amazing. And so going into this day, you know, we talked about in that last video kind of like the journey. Going into this day, I felt ready. You know, I woke up that morning and my legs were stupid fresh. I felt really good. I really did. Sleep the night before was not fun, as I'm sure you're gonna see. I was up very late with the baby, 10:30, 11. So when I woke up, my recovery was just terrible. But yeah, so you know, recovery wasn't the best. But I woke up and my legs felt really good. And you know, it's like 5 in the morning now. So then we take off 5:30, and we get there around like 6:30, 6:35, 6:40ish, and like we don't know where to park. And so now I'm like in panic mode. And you know, of course, like, you know, you start to overthink things. Like if it would have been like somebody else's marathon or something else, I would have been like, yeah, it's okay. We can be like, you know, we'll get there like 5 minutes. But like this, I'm just like, oh my gosh, my warm up. What am I gonna do? All right, guys, what's going on? Sorry if it's a little windy. I don't know what it's gonna sound like. I need to talk out my jitters because I'm like, I don't know. I'm so excited, but I'm so nervous. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling knowing that like, and it's not just that like, it's not just like the fact that 9 months of training is like, you know, accumulating to this center day time, but it's just all the pain I went through, all the food, all the runs. I mean, so many miles. I mean, I think in the past 9 months, I've easily ran 800 miles. Like I put more miles on my legs than I did my car. Okay. And just like that, and like knowing that all that's about to manifest into something, regardless, it's going to be great. Because listen, I'm going to crawl across the finish line if I have to. Don't plan on doing that. I plan on doing sub 4, but I'll crawl across if I have to. But I know all of it's about to manifest into this one point. Just on with the mom. Hello. I will talk to y'all about something real quick, since this page is about body image, and everything else I love to talk about. I had like a total dysmorphic episode this morning. It didn't last long. It was a fleeting thought, but it was enough to make me think about it and chew on it, and the fact that little voice is still there if I'm not careful. But I got on the scale and I was like 199.8, which isn't my low. Like my low when I'm completely dried out, which is a good thing I'm not dried out, but back to the circumstances here. And I was like, I thought, and what came to my mind was when I went to sign up for the marathon, how tiny all these endurance athletes are. And I was just like, immediately to my head, I was like, I'm too big for this. I'm way too big for what I'm trying to do. I'm crazy. There's no way I'm going to pull this off. Like all these thoughts. And I was like, whoa, John. Whoa. 1, that's not true. 2, that's not true. 3, that's not true. Like I've already proven I can run at that pace for 20 miles. I can do it for 6 more. 2, that's totally out of context. I know plenty of like Nick Bear, Patrick Cutter, all these people that weigh about as much as I do right now, and are absolute savages on the pavement. I'm just a diamond in the rough, and that's okay. So believe in yourself, and don't let societal norms dictate what you can achieve, because they're not always. The societal norms in terms of physical ailments don't take into consideration work ethic, grit, genetics, muscle fibers. Like there's so much outside of just what you look like visually that matters here. And the lens is a little dirty. Sorry about that. Or it's blurry. There we go. But yeah, so something to think about. Do you never settle? Know what I'm saying? Alright. I'm gonna see y'all when we get there. And so we ended up finally finding the parking lot. And it was actually really nice because I got to warm up to get to the starting line. And so I everything was just going through my head. Honestly, I was just excited to run. Like I think that was the best part for me. One of the best, I should say, was when I was trying to get to the starting line. Like I was just simply, above anything, I was excited to get on the pavement and run. I love to run. It is in me. It has been ingrained in my soul, and I love running as a ketogenic athlete. Like I love being fat fueled. I love being fat based. I love being low carb. I love not depending on carbohydrates as my fuel source. Like I love knowing how to optimize my body through the right fuel sources at the right times. Like it just makes me happy to know that I can bring that to the table and give endurance athletes a different way of doing things, and that excites me. And so boom, the race starts and we're going, and I don't have any film. I didn't bring my phone with me. I didn't even bring music. I literally just wanted it to be me in the road. Would the music have made a difference? I don't know. Next run, I might do music the whole time just to see if there's a difference in terms of like when I get to mile 21, 22, like do I just like put on some really hardcore song and just go for it? I don't know. But I didn't want it that time. I wanted to have conversation. I wanted to enjoy the sounds of all the feet slapping the concrete, and which means you have bad form. You should be very quiet. But like, so we're running. I had a good time. The first 10 miles were great. My mom took over my Instagram account and kind of talked about how those were going.
Just saw John. He's doing great. He's about 4 minutes ahead of schedule, just past mile marker 10, and I'm headed over to mile marker.
And so yeah, it was good. And so we just kept going. I felt good going into mile 15, mile 16, and then we get to mile 20. And mile 20 is the farthest I've ever gone. And I feel like that at some point did start to affect me psychologically, because I was like, this is when it's going to get hard. I need to conserve. So I started to slow down. And I think looking back now, I realized that it doesn't matter how much you slow down. Those last 6 miles are going to be very painful. Very painful. And so it's actually best, probably, looking back now, to not slow down. I should have sped up. I should have opened up my stride, and I should have bit my lower lip. But I didn't know, obviously. First time, it was first experience. But up until that time, I was at a sub 4 hour pace. I was at a sub 4 hour pace going into mile 20. Which just lets me know that I can do a sub 4 hour marathon. But I got to mile like 21 and my legs just failed. And because I was trying to conserve and I did slow down, I could not, my legs just wouldn't move faster than I was already at. And I remember at like mile 22, 23, just like, I cannot believe how much pain are in my legs right now. And it was a twofold thought. It was, I can't believe how much pain's in my legs, and I can't believe that I can still run right now. I'm a beast, and this sucks. So we hit mile like 23, and we're going. You know, I hit mile 24, and my legs are just dead. And so I'm on mile 25, and I'm about a quarter mile away from mile 25. And my legs just hurt so bad. And John, you cannot stop running. You cannot stop running. But I actually, and I'm not afraid to admit this now, I did. I talked myself into stop running. I didn't stop, but I started to power walk. And I started to power walk probably about a quarter mile from mile 25. There's like, I remember there were these 3 cones. And I was walking from one cone to the other. It's probably about 50 yards. And I'm like, I remember it went through my head like, is this all I got? 25 miles is all Jonathan Shane has to offer. The keto road can only go 25 miles. And it was a terrible thought in my head. And I was trying to hype myself up. I was like, come on, just start running. Just start running. But my legs were, I was just tired. My head was all over the place, y'all. It's crazy. And I'll have to thank this guy if I ever meet him. But really, I don't mind, you know, again, admitting this, like, really what got me to start running again at the time I did. I'm pretty sure I would have talked myself into it. Who knows? But I know at that time, a guy ran past me. I believe his name was Jeffrey. I assume. Because as he ran past me, he was like, come on, Jeffrey. Come on, Jeff. You got this, Jeff. And when he did that, I saw him running. I was like, all right, I'm not the only one in pain right now. I'm pretty sure everybody that has ran this far is in pain. This level of pain. I can do this. So, boom. Feet get picked up. And I start jogging again. And literally, the whole last mile, I'm running. And I'm trying to focus on just breathing. So I'm taking really large inhales. And then really long exhales. I'm really doing that like the whole mile, and if I can get on a straightaway, I'm literally just trying to close my eyes. Like, I don't want to think about the run. I didn't want to think about my legs. I just wanted to breathe. That's all I wanted to focus on. I wanted to puke that whole mile 26. But I just keep moving, John. Just keep moving, John. And so I just kept running. I just kept jogging. I kept moving. And I remember I got to the last quarter mile, and I turned the corner. And the steepest hill, it wasn't a large hill. It was probably maybe 50, 100 feet. But it was steep. It was the steepest hill of the whole course. And I was like, you guys are a bunch of sickos. And so I started driving my knees. I got up it somehow. And I remember I got to that last 1/10 of a mile. And they were like, it's a 1/10 of a mile from under the bridge. And I said, really? A 1/10 of a mile? That's all I've got left. And so I guess my adrenals were like, got excited because my body was like, you're almost done. And so it just shot me with adrenaline. And, sorry. And I'm running and my legs just start moving. And it was funny. I thought I was going to look stupid in the photos, but I actually have my stride. I have my good form going. And I just picked up. I started running super fast. And of course, when I crossed the finish line, no photos, here's a video.
From Katie, Jonathan Shane. Elif Ecap. From Houston.
And, I remember I was like, man, what if I'd have been able to do that the whole last 4 miles? You know, of course, thoughts like that go through your head as you start to reflect. But I remember, who knows, right? I don't really know. But I do know this. At that moment in time, with it being my first experience and the mindset I was in and where I was in my head, like I crossed that finish line knowing that in the position I was in, I literally gave it every ounce of effort I had. I wringed that rag. I literally could not run anymore. Like I got done and I could barely walk. I don't even know how to articulate the level of pain in my legs. But I gave it my all, and I could not have been happier with myself. And so my final time was 4 hours and 24 minutes. Could I run a sub 4? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not ready for that. Maybe I need more practice, which is fine. It was an ambitious goal for my first one. And by the time I got now is nice. I mean, most people run 5, 6.5 hour long marathons, their first marathons. I mean, the fact that I ran a 4:24 it's crazy for a first timer, except for like really professional athletes, you know? So like for me, I was very happy with the results and I cannot wait to do it again. And so like, I guess some final thoughts, maybe a lesson, you know, is that like, I know for a fact that I'm a better version of myself, both from an athletic perspective and from a personal, like personality, reflective perspective than I was before I ran that marathon. Those 4.5 hours absolutely changed how I feel about my capabilities as a person. It is the slowest yet fastest couple of hours of your entire life, but it hurts. But there's beauty on the other side of that pain. And so, you know, something to just think about, something that was really reinforced with me from that marathon was, you know, you might be hurting right now and you might be in pain right now, but there is a flower that is going to bloom through those thorns that is going to be so gorgeous. And I cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to see you bloom. And you should be excited for you to bloom, because you will. And you will be a better version of yourself for it.